The Los Angeles Dodgers have been busy to say the least this winter, adding Shohei Ohtani, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow. They've been very busy. But two of those names I said are pitching next year. And even with the addition of a future Hall of Famer like Shohei Ohtani in the lineup, things to me still look a little unsettled on the 40-man roster, at least on the position player side of things, on the lineup side of things. Today we talked to my friend and co-host of the Locked On Dodgers podcast, Mr. Jeff Snider, all about that Dodgers roster here on the All Dodgers podcast. One note, this was recorded a few days before the Yamamoto signing, so there might be some mentions of if Yamamoto signs and if and this and yada yada. The spirit is still there. It's still fun. It's still a good interview, and it's still worth a thumbs up. It's still worth that subscribe. And make sure you guys go follow Locked On Dodgers here on YouTube. It's a great follow. They are live, or they give you Dodgers content 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Hardest working people in show business, I tell you, Jeff and Vince. But without further ado, here is my conversation with Jeff. And one last note. The audio is a little messed up. It is very messed up on my side. I clicked the wrong button. It got computer audio instead of microphone audio. So I apologize, and I apologize to Jeff for sounding really loud. But okay, enough jibba jabba. Let's get into it. All right, let's get Jeff in here. Welcome to the show. Look, I got a soundboard back. You get the clap. I think you could hear the clap, right? No,
I can't hear a clap. Can you clap for me with your actual hands, I guess?
Sorry.
There we go. Now I can hear it. Yeah.
I'll have to work on that. I have to have my people work on that. But you guys, of course, I already said it. You guys know Jeff Snider. He is the host of the Locked On Dodgers podcast. Every single day of your life on weekdays, you can hear this man in your face. Jeff, I appreciate you. I know you just recorded a show, burning the midnight oil, as they say, but appreciate you coming on here and chatting Dodger baseball with me.
Happy to do it, Clint. You know, I love you and love talking Dodgers with you.
Appreciate it, man. Well, let's get into it. I really wanted to focus on all things position player. We've talked a lot about pitching. I think everybody's focused so much on pitching over the last few weeks of content, which makes enough sense. But looking at this roster on the position player side of things, I wonder if some of us, some fans, maybe I don't, because clearly I came up with the questions to ask you. So maybe some people have I'm calling it the Ohtani tinted glasses. It feels like everything is perfect now. Shohei Ohtani's a Dodger. What could go wrong? But there's some holes, maybe not holes, but there are some cracks on this roster for sure. I wanted to get your thoughts on some of them. So starting in the outfield, is an outfield of Chris Taylor, James Outman, Jason Heyward with that sprinkle of the new guy, the Manuel Margot, as a fourth outfielder. Is that good enough in your opinion?
No, and I don't think that's the Dodgers' plan. I think they probably have something in mind for an everyday left fielder who is not Chris Taylor. I think their preferred role for Chris Taylor is a utility guy playing all over the place, not getting 700 plate appearances, but getting, 400 plate appearances at a lot of different positions. If he's their starting everyday left fielder, plans A through F didn't work out this offseason. The way I picture it is somebody coming in. I'm still not convinced they're out on Randy Arozarena. I know it didn't happen in the Tyler Glasnow trade, but that's okay. It doesn't. No rule that says you can only make one trade with a team in any given offseason. So somebody like Arozarena would be a perfect fit. For a lot of different reasons. You're I reading your mind right now. I suspect you're going to ask me about the left-handed heavy lineup, and Arozarena would help with that.
Yeah.
So an outfield of Arozarena in left, Outman in center, and then a platoon of Heyward and Margot in right, with Chris Taylor bouncing around to give guys days off, bouncing around the infield to give guys days off. All of that stuff. That to me is the ideal outfield setup. I like Manuel Margot as the right-handed half of platoon with Jason Heyward. Yes. But anything that has Margot getting more than a couple hundred plate appearances, again, I don't think that's their plan.
It doesn't feel like it. Kind of going off script a little bit here too. You need to have CT3 in that sort of utility role. He needs to stay in that utility role because I really don't see a world where they re-sign Kike Hernandez. I don't know if you feel different.
but I think that's just, it might be too many of the sort of same fast but not very power driven bats with CT, Kike, and Margot. I think they need maybe a little bit more pop if they're going with the right hand side of right hand swingers, bringing somebody in or adding to the roster. But you said left-handed left-handed hitting lineup. We are going to get there, but I'm going to bring up a couple more left-handers first because, I guess one's lefty swinger, one's a righty swinger. Couple of prospects that we've heard a lot about. One of them got a chance last year. The other one hasn't really ever got a chance. We got to talk Miguel Vargas, Michael Busch. What do you think is more likely to happen this offseason with either of those guys? Traded, or are they going to be shifted to an outfield role?
I'd be shocked if at least one of them isn't traded. I'd be surprised if they're both not traded. I don't know where the fit is for them. And some of that comes down to trades. You're not just going to give them away, but Michael Busch headlining a Randy Arozarena trade makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. One of those guys headlining a Dylan Cease or Corbin Burns trade, if they miss out on Yoshinobu Yamamoto, something like that. But the fact is, when they signed Max Muncy to the extension and they moved Mookie Betts to the full-time second baseman, you've all got Freddie Freeman at first base. That's all the positions that Michael Busch plays.
Yeah.
It's all the positions that Miguel Vargas plays. We've seen both of them play a little bit of left field, neither of them very well. And so I guess it wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world to think one of them is working really, really hard on his outfield defense and convinces them to let him be the everyday left fielder, but it doesn't seem likely. And so Busch is coming off such a great minor league season last year. I don't know that his value is ever going to be higher than it is right now. You look at last year and his age and everything, he needs to be playing every day in the big leagues for somebody in 2024. And if it's not the Dodgers, which it doesn't seem like it's going to be, it would be crazy for them not to trade him. Vargas doesn't have quite the trade value probably at this point that Busch does, just because he did struggle more last year. But he also does have more major league experience and did show some signs of quality hitting. And so, I think both of them have trade value. And it's hard to see a fit for either of them on the Dodgers next year. And so that's why I say at least one and maybe both of them traded.
Yeah. It's funny. We talk about a 100+ win team and talk about that team being sort of talking about it in a bad light, but there's still a team that won that many games. But you focus on that postseason failure. And, you also look back at them entering the season with Miguel Vargas, and they gave him a lot of leash. You wonder if they are going to give him more leash again. But I just don't know if this team that kind of needs to prove itself to Shohei, they don't need to prove. He's getting his money either way, but they need to kind of honor, I guess, the agreement of, hey, we're not paying you really much of anything this year. We want to win. But here's your starting left fielder, Miguel Vargas. I guess I don't see that. I didn't really need to add any of that. I just really wanted to talk crap a little bit about Miguel Vargas. They gave him his chance last year, and we'll see him kind of sprinkle up here and there throughout the season, I'm assuming, if he's not traded. Point blank, next question. Is the lineup too left-handed?
It's maybe more left-handed than you would like, but I mean, when you look at the specifics, Freddie Freeman hits lefties really well. Gavin Lux hit lefties pretty well when he was playing well in 2022 before the injury. He was hitting lefties pretty well. Shohei Ohtani, he's a pretty decent hitter, and so when you're look, and even Max Muncy, when he was at his best a few years ago, he was better against lefties than he was against righties. And so, I talked about this on Locked on Dodgers the other day about the rotation being too righty heavy. And it's the same question, just in reverse. You're not looking for, back when Bryce Harper was a free agent, people would tell me Dodgers don't need Bryce Harper. They have too many lefties already. So Bryce Harper can hit lefties. It doesn't matter. You don't need right-handed hitters. You need guys who can hit left-handed pitching. And the fact is, if you're going to be too heavy from one side or the other, there's a lot more right-handed pitchers than left-handed pitchers. And so you'd rather be too left-handed heavy offensively than too right-handed heavy. And with so many of the Dodgers hitters being guys, and even James Outman hit lefties really well last year.
He did.
We don't know if that will continue, but None of these guys, other than Jason Heyward, who they're not planning on letting him ever see a left-handed. They're not even going to bring him to the ballpark when a lefty's on the mound. Other than him, there's not really guys who you think, well, that guy's just terrible against lefties. He has to be a platoon, or they're going to be in trouble. I like their chances against lefties and righties, even as it's made up. But yeah, I do want Randy Arozarena in left field.
Yeah, Randy's been that's my Christmas wish list guy right there. Would love to get Randy. I was hoping he would be included with Glasnow, but I like the power of positive drinking you bring to this, saying, hey, the reality
I'm a teetotaler, you know that, Clint.
The trades are never over unless it's January or July 31st or whatever they decide to make the trade deadline each year. So bring us Randy, please. Andrew, I know he watches the show all the time. I promise you. He's like, why'd they change the name? But anyways, you mentioned
that's
Gavin
when he's
Lux.
done watching Locked On Dodgers.
Yeah, of course. Make that
he makes us his first listen. Yeah, for
exactly.
Sure.
Well, he puts you guys on, puts you and Vince on the drive on the car because you guys are much better face for radio, as they say. And then did
I ever tell you about
this?
Did you ever tell you about the dream that I had? That Oral Hershiser told me I had a face made for radio and a voice made for newspaper. That was a dream that I had. The Oral Hershiser said that to me, and I've never forgotten that.
Man, you having Bulldog roast you in your dreams. Hey, yeah. Listen, if you guys don't believe it, Jeff Snider, he eats and literally drinks and sleeps Los Angeles Dodgers.
That's all I do, man.
That's all he does. You mentioned Lux. You mentioned Muncy. I love Max Muncy. I had a long campaign last year on Blue Heaven about I don't like Muncy at third base. I'm really hoping he put in a lot of work this offseason. But what is your confidence level with the left side of this infield with Lux, with Muncy, and of course Lux coming off of a major knee injury and a major knee surgery?
Yeah, it could be an adventure. I do think Muncy has potential. Like, the fact is, he turned himself into one of the best defensive first basemen in baseball. And then he switched positions because the Dodgers signed Freddie Freeman. That year, 2021, Max Muncy per inning was probably the best defensive first baseman in baseball. And then he moved off that because Freddie Freeman's coming. You move for Freddie Freeman. That's what you do. He was a solid second baseman. That was back when there was the shift, but he turned himself into a solid second baseman. When you look at the actual issues that Muncy had last year, there was a little bit of range issues, but a lot of it was just like making bad throws, clanking off the glove. It was stuff that is probably fixable, with a lot of hard work. You get in, your 100 throws from third to first every day, you're going to get better at throwing from third to first. You take these ground balls, maybe Ron Washington can come over from fake LA and help him with his third base defense. But it wouldn't shock me if Max Muncy was a league average defensive third baseman next year. I don't think I'd put money on it, but we know enough in his history, seeing what he's done to improve himself at other positions, that there's at least the potential there. Gavin Lux is an elite athlete, and has been a shortstop for most of his life. I think we're going to see some of the same issues, especially coming off of Miguel Rojas. Lux is going to be worse defensively than Rojas, but he's hopefully going to be a lot better offensively. And that makes up for some of it, and with Muncy last year, when Muncy was hitting, we didn't care about his defense. It was when Muncy was struggling on offense. That's when we noticed, and he's kind of crappy on defense too. If Muncy's hitting, we'll put up with the defense, but I think it is maybe a perfect storm of adventure, and not in a good way, to have those two guys as a starting left side of the infield. Maybe that's why the Dodgers are stacking their rotation with right-handed pitchers to get more lefties in the lineup, so they'll hit the ball to the right side of the field more often, where they got Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman.
And by the way, Jason Heyward in right field. Yeah,
just keep the ball away from the left side of the infield. I think we just cracked something here. What's your name? Clint. I almost called you Vince, my other chubby bearded co-host.
What are you saying? All Dodgers podcasters look the same, Jeff? No comment.
Right? I shaved so that I won't look like the rest of you.
That's a good one, but hey, we're still hat backwards brothers here. One last note on the Muncy thing. If there's one thing, I agree with what you said about. Well, I obviously agree, it's facts. I like what you said about Muncy taking that time, how good he became as a first baseman when this team signed him. Back even in his Oakland days, he was obviously never really known as a defensive first player. In Oakland, he wasn't known as a hitter either, but he's somebody who really does take pride in his job. And I think he's pretty pissed at the headlines, at hearing me bitch at him for a full season on Blue Heaven. I think he wants to quiet the haters, as they call them, and he's going to put in a lot of work. And we've already seen him at Dodger Stadium. Him, I have faith in becoming, like you said, at least league average. With the knee injury, I am worried about Lux at short, such an athletic position. It's, so many pivots and all that. Thankfully, they didn't try to push him to come back in 23. There's no spot for him. You hope for the best, but I have worries about some of those push-offs, some of those turns. Lot more to come on that down the road. We got a full season of all this kind of stuff and a whole offseason complain about things. Final one before we wrap it up, because it is late night for us. Using the magic of the internet here, guys. Do you think a trade or a signing happens to bolster or balance out the position player side of the roster before spring training?
I do. Like I said, I do think that they are on the prowl for a left fielder, an everyday left fielder. It wouldn't even shock me if it was, if Corbin Burnes became available. Everybody's saying Burnes is unlikely to be traded, but Corbin Burnes and Christian Yelich as a package deal wouldn't shock me. That makes the lineup even more left-handed.
It's a lot more lefty. More lefty.
Yeah. But it's whether it's Yelich or Rosarena or somebody else, hopefully an Adilo Jimenez. If they're getting an outfielder from the White Sox along with Dylan Cease, I would hope it's Lubob and not Eloy, who's an outfielder, but you have to use air quotes around it.
Yeah, exactly.
But one way or the other, I feel like they're going to add an outfielder, either in free agency or on the trade market. If for no other reason that they have guys they need to trade. Like, Michael Busch needs to be traded. And that I hope people don't think I'm saying that is a negative thing about Michael Busch. It's the fact is there's not a spot for him. His value is super high. He is too good to not be traded right now. And so, and that could be a pitcher if they miss out on Yamamoto. But if they get Yamamoto, well, then you've got Busch and maybe Vargas and maybe another pitcher, a Michael Grove type, who's like, what are we going to do with this guy? He's got value to other teams. We need to make some trades here, even just to clear up some of our backlog. And so, I think there's still quite a few changes to come to this roster over the next month or month and a half.
I like it. I love it. I'm putting it in writing that you gave it the locked on guarantee that something has happened. And I'm pretty sure you can take that one to the bank. Something is definitely going to happen. The front office said it through the early parts of the offseason. They are the best equipped of anybody to go out and do just about anything, and even trading away, two dudes with DeLuca and Pepio. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what is available for this team to send away in trades. So Randy Rosarena, we'll see you soon in LA. I keep calling it Randy Wood out in left field. That'll be fun. 15 years after Manny Wood became a thing. Jeff, I thank you for the time. 10 p.m. my time as we're recording this right now, but look at that. He's always firing off great Dodgers insight, folks. If you aren't following him already, give him a follow on the Twitter or the X or whatever you call it. That's at Snydog. You guys know it. Make sure you subscribe to Locked On Dodgers. It's here on YouTube. Make sure you guys give him a follow on YouTube or on all their podcasty things. You're on all the spots, right?
All the spots. Every single spot.
I think they're getting rid of Google Play soon enough or whatever that is. But him and his co-host, Vince Samperio, another friend of the show, they talk a lot and they talk every day, and I feel sorry for the both of them because they have to talk to each other every day. But
hey, we're all right.
Appreciate you guys getting new episodes every Monday through Friday, so make sure you guys make them your first listen every morning. any last words before I let you go, or last thoughts? I mean, I'm not going to kill you, but anything you want to leave our audience here with before I let you go?
No, yeah, I do appreciate. I love talking baseball with you, with anybody, and yeah, I'll take you when you're what's available. Yeah, we do try to keep Locked On Dodgers about a half hour a day. I guess research shows that that's about the average time of a commute, and that's our goal. You can listen to it once on the way to work, listen to it again on the way at home, and have it on YouTube in the background while you're at work. You can get 6 or 8 listens in a day, and that's the benefit of a half-hour show every day, and that's real good for our numbers. And believe it or not, Shohei Ohtani has been good for our numbers too.
Yeah, I picked a good time to start a new channel, I tell you what. But
yeah, you did.
Jeff, again, thanks for the time, man.
Anytime, man.
Thanks again to Jeff for joining the channel. Now I want your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the Dodgers roster when it comes to the position player side of things? What do you feel about the outfield? Is this team good enough with Chris Taylor as the starting left fielder? Do you buy into James Outman? Which version of James Outman can we expect in 2024? And will the clock strike midnight on Jason Heyward after his Cinderella bounce back season? Again, sound off in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that thumbs up. It helps the channel, boosts the algorithms or some things like that. I don't really know. YouTube is weird, but it makes us all happy when we see some thumbs up. Want to keep building this channel up to the moon or maybe to next door, whatever it is. I'm Real FRG on all the things. The links are in the description, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.